So, my dear, you see, sun is always shining. Whenever you see sun, it always full, and in its fullness, in light and heat. But moon is not like that. Why? Because moon is dependent. It has its not own light. It only reflects which is coming to it. So it is being dependent. So many things are there in between which they are interfering. But there is nothing for the sun. It will go on from its own self. Why we are sometimes suffering, sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are in a good mood, sometimes in a hard mood, sometimes we are in nice condition, somewhere we are in sad condition. Thing is that there is something which is controlling us, and we are irresistibly being influenced from the atmosphere and from so many things from inside, so many things from outside, and that we are not having our independent life. I think that all the trees, plants, animals, they are having more independent life. They are not so much dependent. Trees and plants, they are really no more dependent, and they are going on their independent life. They are not to be hurt by anybody. In the same way, the creatures of air or water or dry earth, they are also going along much independent life. But the man is, I think, in this respect, the lowest, that he is always dependent, always influenced, and that we are suffering. Although we are highest in creation of Lord God, this problem is there that we have to solve. If we can solve, why shouldn't we solve it? And now the thing is there, in this physical body, we have both the things. One is what is always changeable, never it is stable, and always dependent, and always influenced. It is having its no stability. You cannot depend upon it. If your horse is just grazing somewhere, it is free. It is not tied to some peg. You cannot feel where it will go. Anywhere, at any moment, it is free to go anywhere. In the same way, our situation is there that it is dragged by all these influential authorities anyway, and that we are helpless. We are like in the condition of slaves. Slaves cannot do their own will. They have only to do the will of their owner. But we have not one owner. We have so many. And that we are driven heedlessly, very horribly. Although we have adjusted ourselves to such like feelings, sufferings, and we do not feel like suffering. And some understanding has also been taken away from us, that we are not feel these difficulties. If someone is kept in a prison from the birth, will not feel like that person is in prison. But when for some time he is given to enjoy freedom, and then is put into a prison again, then he will feel really hard. If we had ever been shown that life of freedom, of greatness, glory, beauty, and all competencies, little glimpse of it, then we will come to know what is our life. And again, if we are just put into human bodies and sent to this world, we will not like it. We will not feel like it. because we have found a glimpse of our own life which is so wonderful, so great, that that has gone into our heart, and we will not accept anything lower. But that has not been shown to us for the purpose that we may not have yearning for it. And that what is given to us, the mind has got such a tendency to adjust itself. Body has also its tendency to adjust to the circumstances. There was a friend of mine, he was a renunciate. He was just naked. And that I asked him that what was his condition when he was in that renunciation, especially in the winter season, because winter season in northern India is quite hard. There's not snow, but frost is there. Temperature even goes below zero. Then he told for 1 year it was really hard. But next year I could not feel so hard because my body had adjusted. And after 2-3 years it was just normal. Maybe winter, maybe summer, but I was going along nicely. So body had adjusted itself. So body and mind has got this faculty of adjustment. But this faculty of adjustment is also not so good, because it also makes us deprived of that great self, and that we are satisfied with the lower self. When we are satisfied with the lower self, then we will have no anxiety for the higher self. And then we will keep deprived ourselves of the higher self. And in the lower self, although we have adjusted, but who has adjusted? It is only body has adjusted. Mind still has not adjusted. Mind jumps at once when some person, traveler on foot, is going along, and 3, 4, or 5 persons are going on together, they are feeling okay, no difficulty. But when some cyclist goes along and he goes away further, then they begin to feel, oh, he is enjoying and we are suffering. And when by the side of cyclist, a car is there, and cyclist is under the burning sun, and really heat, and he's going on with it, all hard labor against the wind, struggling to move forward, and car goes, why? Says, I am suffering. These people are enjoying. That mind at once begins to jump when it feels like that there's something better, and that I am deprived of it. I should also enjoy it. Then your consolation is disturbed. And that this is the case with all the people of this world. We may just press down the mind for some time, but you cannot really press it, because its desires which are there have to be fulfilled. Otherwise it will go on crying, go on crying, go on crying, as if your child is hungry. You have no food, you love the child, hug the child, and put it on the bed and give it a pat and please sleep, please sleep. They still go on crying and crying and crying, because that demand which is there, that cannot be ignored. And that demand, when fulfilled, only then child will be satisfied. So our basic desire is to become perfect. Mind will be perfect when it is the second region. There it is stable. That will not feel like going forward. But the demand of our soul will only be satisfied when it is the fifth plane wherefrom it is. And that it has not forgotten its hunger or its demand, its need. It will only be satisfied when it will find all what is meant for it, and it is meant for to enjoy that. It is not some kind of enjoyment, it is some kind of normal life. But that normal life is of some standard that when we look it from down, then we find very good, very, very wonderful, very, very wonderful. But when we go over there, then we are feeling satisfied only. Okay, we are going on. It's not, there is not sense of enjoyment. Enjoyment or some kind of suffering is only comparison. When you find somebody better than you, then you suffer. When you find somebody inferior than you, lower than you, then you enjoy. But when there is nobody superior than you and also nobody there inferior than you, then you go on normally. That is the state of stability. We cannot say suffering is not there, enjoyment is not there, but some kind of unchangeable permanence goes on. And in that state, really you will be able to enjoy their stability, enjoyment of stability. Because when there are some kind of possibilities of ups and downs, then there is also danger in you that I may not go down. I may not fall ill, may not fall sick, may not go weaker, or may not become poorer. That suspicion is always going on. And when you find some people enjoying better than you, then anxiety is there. That will also go on troubling you. That I should be like that person, like that person, like that person. They are enjoying this and that. I am not enjoying. That anxiety will also be there. It will keep you always unstable wherever you are. You will not be able to enjoy really. This state of instability is really very hard. All these trees and plants and all of the animals, they have got this kind of stability, that they have not such a kind of mind which has comparison. Wherever they are feeling like, okay, satisfied. They are not having any sense that I should also be better than as other are, and that if there are some lower ones, it doesn't feel like that I'm superior to the other. Some kind of stable position is there, and therefore they are going on nicely. But the man has been given this feeling that mind is there, that is always in sense of comparison, and therefore a rich person is also always suffering. Because rich person is feeling like, I may lose my riches, and what will happen? He is always very worried to keep his riches safe. Some watchmen, some military, some police, as if there is king. How much he is worried about? He is a king, he should enjoy. There is nothing to worry about. He has sufficient to live upon. Every kind of necessities, amenities of life are there with him. But why he cannot enjoy peacefully? Because he is worried about his stability. That where he is, it is unstable. And with very, very hard and continuous struggles, he will have to maintain. And still, it is, you have found that in spite of all their best efforts, they fall down. Because this world is like this, that anybody who is above the ground and is having movement and is going around having some consciousness is always unstable. A stone is stable, and that earth is stable. Those things which are lifeless, those are stable, those are not worried about. Because this world is a valley of death. That those who have no life, they are inert material, they can enjoy. There is no difficulty for them, there is no hunger, there is no thirst, they do not need anything, there is no disturbance of anything to them, and they are not feeling any heat or cold. Wherever they are going on peacefully. They are enjoying the same thing as we will enjoy in the kingdom of God. At the fifth lane, what we will enjoy at the fifth lane, they are enjoying of the stones and lifeless material is enjoying here, because they are in their own stable condition, where they cannot go up, they cannot go down. There is no danger to them. They are not to struggle to go up, or they are not to struggle to maintain their position which is there now, that they are danger of their going down. They are carefree, and they are those people who are carefree, they are called to be enjoying. Now you have got two systems with you. One is your physical body, it is extreme down, and one is your soul, which is extreme up, and you have also all in between you. All in between, from highest to lowest, there is nothing in between which is not fitted in you. You are a great, great complex. And if there are 2 or 3 persons in the family, it is hard to satisfy 3 or 4. But if they are numberless and they have got their different demands, they need different kind of food, different kind of desires, different kinds of lifestyle, and you will have to provide all for all what is needed by them. Then it becomes a great problem. Great problem. As I have already told to you, that for your body also you need so many things. Your food is not one kind of food. So many kinds of food you have got. Even then your body is not satisfied. These millions of these things are there in the market. What are these to satisfy the body? But still your body is not satisfied. Because body is also a great complex itself. It is basically, as per main, made of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These have their own lifestyles. They are not resembling to each other. And mind is also there, intellect is also there, and so many other things are also there. So many other things which you cannot imagine. I may tell you a story. There was a woman who was going on normally in her life, but at some time she got pregnant. And then she was always feeling like eating red sugar. You know red sugar? The balls are there. And she was always having great craving to eat red sugar. And then the child was born at the proper time, and she was caring for the child. Still that anxiety for sugar was going on. And after that, when the child was about 1 or 2 years, he himself began to sugar, then child began to sugar, and she was free of the sugar. From this, you can well imagine who was eating sugar. It was the child who, from the previous ages, had some kind of karmic relations with sugar. That when he was in the body of the mother, he was demanding over there also, please. And the mother had to go through this anxiety, because this anxiety was not from her, no doubt. It was there somebody in her who was demanding it. And when that person was born and did start eating himself, then he could satisfy himself directly. Then the mother was not to be troubled or disturbed. Such like things are there in us. Especially there are so many evils in everybody. In some people, they are awakened. In whom they are awakened? Who are initiated. They are awakened and they show themselves and they cannot stay and they have to go away. But these bigger entities which are handled by the master power, God power or non power, they who are very much disturbance, they have to go away. But still, there are so many who are still there in us, and they are creating every kind of anxieties in us, desires in us. And if we have any desire of the worldly side, it is only due to these entities, these powers, that we are having any connection to this lower things. I have diagnosed that there were some people who were smoking. What was the reason? That they had entities in them. And when those entities were gone, there were no more smoking. And some people are alcoholic. This is also due to the same reasons. That there are some kind of entities which are alcoholic, which need such like things. And that when they reside in some beings, in some human beings, then they ask that their desires should be fulfilled. In Indian mythology, there is such kind of what you call angel, or not angel, but some kind of negative power, which people worship us over there. And what is its demand? Meat and wine. And that when those people who are worshipping that power, that entity, they are addicted to such like habits, and they offer also such like offerings to their deity, to their power, to whom they are worshipping. So there's great complex. A man is very, very great complex. If you feel like that there is some medicine which can help you, you cannot be able to with one medicine. You will have to take 1 million pills. That will also not help you. As you see, there are millions of the pills in the market, but still you are not well. Still you are suffering. Because man is such a complex that from anything of this world, there's no remedy. However, hit and trial methods are there. Some people sometimes get better, but that is also not really due to the medicine or treatment which they have been given. And that one other law is also working upon us, that destiny. That when we are to suffer, we have to suffer. And there's no way that we can get rid of that suffering till that period which is given in the destiny that we are to suffer is over. And in that time of suffering, no medicine, no doctor or anything will be effective upon you. But after that period, when you have to get well, then some kind of medicine from some doctor will be there who will be applicable upon you, and you will feel that this doctor is really efficient doctor, and that his medicine has worked, and I am now well with this medicine. Such like misunderstandings, misunderstandings are there, that man is totally confused, 100% confused. And there is no way out of it. So much confusion creating agencies are there working upon the man. There was a man he was a shopkeeper. He came to me that when he leaves his shop, he puts about $500 in his chest and locks it, and then closes the doors of the shop. There are 2 locks outside. Those are also closed, locked. And then watchman is also outside, who looks after that area whole the night. And in the morning, he comes back to the shop, and the watchman is there. He tells them everything is okay, nothing happened in the night. And then he also looks at the locks of the shop, they are also intact. He opens them. And then he goes to the chest. That is also okay. Lock is already there intact. He opens the lock. But half the money is absent. He was feeling like that. Perhaps I am wrong in my own conception. That it might not be 500, it was already 250. Second day again it was same. Third day it was again the same. Then he could feel that there is something wrong. Now what you can conclude about it? What is the remedy with you? What you can understand about it? What is the reason and what you are to make some remedy against it, that you are to be protected? There is nothing like that. However, when he told to me, then I happened to go there and it was all gone. So man is in such a great problematic situation that anything or any agency, any ways or means at the worldly level will not be able and had not been able and are not able to help the man. Man is continuous sufferer. This is not given by God, but as per situation we have got this, and we have not understood the way of life from the wise ones who know the secrecy of life and who know the way how this life was designed to be lived upon, and what is the remedy against every kind of problems, against every kind of disease, against every kind of suffering. There are millions of diseases there are in this world. There are some diseases which the doctors also don't know even. Some new and new, fresh and fresh diseases are coming up. Fresh and problematic things are coming up. Which those problems which have never been before, these are coming up now. So things are coming up so much new and new that all those things which we had experienced and tried to get rid of those, we are unable to handle the fresh situations which have occurred, have started from now on, and in future also it will go on. So practically, there is no hope for the man that he may be able to say that I am now free, I will not suffer. There is a remedy, and I have arranged, and it will be okay. Maybe king of the whole of the world will not be able to really get satisfactory lifestyle in this world. But God has not made us that we are to suffer. Then we have to go to our Maker, our Creator, that my dear, you have created us. You know better that how we can get rid of suffering, why you are suffering, why we are suffering, and what is the remedy that we may not suffer. If you had made us only to suffer, even then you may tell us that we may not strive anything more, as these all animals, birds, or other living beings of water, or any living beings, they have not been given any remedy. They have to go along. Ask God, what is remedy for them? He will say, no remedy. But there is remedy for them also. That also we have to know. Because we are responsible, as God is responsible in His kingdom. We are also responsible in this kingdom of the evil. Kingdom of evil has been given to us. And when we will get rid of our sufferings by using that agency which is meant for us, with that we will also be able to release all these lower incarnations of all kinds of diseases, problems and sufferings. All these sprays which we put on the vegetables or fruit, and that they got destroyed. Nothing will be needed. Your looks will be so much full of elixir, that wherever you look, everything will be all cleaned, and that everything, all diseases, all problems, all sufferings will be going along. That you will be acting like God, as God radiates every of His elixir, which eliminates all sufferings of all His creation, if they are in anywhere. In the same way, you will be able to act as God has acted in His kingdom. There is no problem, there is no disease, there is no difficulty. In the same way, we will be able to act like that, and that we will be able to serve ourselves and also others. If this authority is there with us, then why should not we use it? And God tells us that the cause of your suffering is separation from me. Because you are separated from me, so you are suffering. And if you get rid of the sufferings, you want to get rid of sufferings, you solve this problem. Come in contact with me, and all problems will be gone. Anything else than me for you is problem creating agency. And me only is there who is to solve all your problems and to remove all your difficulties and sufferings. This authority is with me, and I am one, no doubt, but I am in everyone. That is why I have put myself in every one of you, because every one of you need me. I have not put myself as one in one family. That family will share with each other in the family. But I know that then it will also not properly work. I should be available to each one. When child is born, I am also at that time with the child even. And with the person who is old and is going to die, I am still there till the time of death, because he will be needing me till the time of death. Till he leaves the physical body, he will be needing me. A child will also have to find me, need me from the very beginning of the life. Because nobody can live without sufferings and problems without me. So I have to be available to all from the beginning till the end. This is the secrecy of life, which scriptures have told. But we have not understood those scriptures, and if masters have told you, you have not felt like understanding it, because your understanding factor is not yet fully free to understand. That curtain of darkness which is there prevailing in you, that keeps away all information or all the help which is coming down from God to you. There is something in between. As the wall is there, you cannot see and we cannot know what is beyond the wall. In the same way, there is such like this curtain, a veil of the darkness, which is keeping us totally away from our lifestyle, which is so much needed and so much urgent, without which we cannot live. And if we live without it, it will be only struggle and ending in struggle, no really benefit out of it. All of struggle will go in vain, because it will not be kept away. It will be always upon our head. And that in the end of our life, then we are totally at its mercy. That should not be the condition. This time has been given to us that God has offered Himself to us with all His provisions, all His blessings. What is not even with the angels, even with the deities, creators, sustainer, destroyer, they are also devoid of these gifts. Rather, these deities and all the angels are included in us, and we are greater than everybody, every creation of Lord God. We are just the same as God in all authorities, in all belongings, in all acquisitions, and every kind of knowledge, wisdom, or glory, etc. There is nothing that we are less than God, even 1 millimeter lower than Him. That has been the blessing given to us by God. Now, some agency has blessed us, like such like blessing that you cannot imagine that there can be something better than that. And that is already given to us. We are not to demand it. We are not to ask for it. And there is another agency which is now depriving us of all what is already given to us by our Father, by our sympathizer, and that it is only to go on depriving us and keeping us in a state that never we find anything, and we are only live a life of struggle, just to try to live, just at the edge. Sometimes we are falling this side, and we are again trying to getting up, again trying to live. Whole of the life we are struggling to live. This is the life of all the people, maybe rich, maybe poor. All are struggling to live. And in the end we are done away with. We cannot live. In the old days, you find life totally deplorable. You feel like I cannot live now. I am so weak. I cannot get up from the bed, cannot get up from the chair. I cannot take my food, and I have lost my teeth. I cannot see. My eyesight has gone down. My hearing power is away. All my working organs are having lost all the working competency. And that how can I live? Not to talk of the diseased persons, although in the old days everybody is prone to diseases. Every little thing which is there to disturb us, it will be at once really very drastic upon an old person. For young persons and children, it is nothing, because they have got so much power to resist from the difficulties, problems, or changes or extremes of weathers, and also from general diseases. They can go on keeping themselves safe. But in the old days, the resisting power of the body goes away, and we are very much easily prone to every kind of disease and problems. And then we are totally feeling like that only we can get rid of the suffering if we die. We feel like dying. Is this the lifestyle of the man? That man feels like now I cannot live, I have to die. I must die. Otherwise it is unbearable. This is not something we can say that we have understood the way of life. Then we are totally failure, 100% failure. Now this condition of the man, which everybody is going along, we are to get out of it, and we feel ourselves that I am to live, I am living, and there is nothing to worry. I am always in myself, and myself is not subject to any kind of problem, disease, suffering, problems. I am to release others. There is nobody who can injure me or disturb me or create difficulty for me. Any agency in the creation of Lord God, there is no agency which can create any problem for me. Even God is also not to create any difficulty for me. As per nature, God is not to create any difficulty. But anything lower than God, they all have got the same kind of tendency. And that we can live the life as glorious, as wonderful, as perfect as that of God. From now on, from here, from this world, this has been the design of the man as the Maker had made us. But we have not gone along with this. If we have got a car and it's to work with the gas and we put water in it, how can it work? Because it is not designed to work with water. Its engine is only to work with gas. So your life is to work with the blessings of God. But you feel like working with the arrangements of this world. How this can work? It is not designed like that. What the designer had designed any machinery, it has to be read from that instruction book, how we are to go along. So instruction books are also there as scriptures, but they cannot really impose upon us. We cannot understand them. And that then masters are there. They really touch your heart. They really give you in such a way that you have to understand. And he has his competency to make you understand. Nobody will be there who will not be able to understand. Such like competent one you need. And after that, when you have understood and followed, then you will feel that now I am living. As you, most of you have also felt like that now your life is a stable life. You are not worried for future of this life. You are also not worried for the future after leaving the physical body. For eternity you are to live. But for eternity there is no difficulty for you. You are safe. You are to enjoy. You are to live the life of perfection for eternity. It has to be available to you because the Master Power who has helped you and very, very graciously you have accepted his help and felt like living according to his instructions, that's a great blessing to you. Who accepts a master and accepts his guidance, that person is really merciful and helpful to one's own self. He has really feeling of blessing his own self. Because he who has to bless you, you have accepted him. So you are friend of yourself. And those who have not accepted and they are going along with the dictates of mind and they are all under some kind of illusion, although they are feeling themselves to be very wise. But professing themselves to be wise, they turned out to be foolish. But that is very hard, and this will be then understood by us at the end. As in this life, you will not find that all these people who are only believing on materialism and do not feel anything in the necessity of God, they never have any feeling that they are wrong, that they are going on the way of destruction. They are not having a way of life. But in the end of the life, when they leave the physical body, then everything becomes crystal clear to them. Then all the curtains are opened. And then you see the reality, which is on one side, and you are all enclosed by that all horrible, gross materialism, all dead, in the grave, under mountains and mountains of burden upon you. How you can come out of that? Where is your life? How you can move? Then we really have to suffer. I don't try to give you some kind of drastic situation that you may feel little afraid of something, or make the worldly people also afraid of something what they are going along enjoying. But I feel like telling them this truth also, that what truth you will have to find when there is no chance for you to change the way. Now yet you have got time, and if you have found this way of life, and Master has blessed you with the way of life, most wonderful, most wonderful. There is nothing better than this. And that you are enjoying also to some extent who are regular in these meditations. And this stay of about 5-6 days which are you have enjoyed over here, that is very, very wonderful time. I don't know how far you have put your time for this and how sincerely you have tried to work upon it. But still, maybe 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, if you had meditated and also attended satsangs twice a day, morning, evening, that is also sufficient. But further you feel that it is not really sufficient when you find more understanding in your heart, because you are just starters. In the start, it is something not so much satisfactory, a confusion is there. But when we are little grown up, then we find more settled in some kind of truth which we have started some time back, and now we have understood much better. So your understanding will go on getting more and more clear, and misunderstanding creating agency will be also clear to you that it is not to be acceptable. It is not working. We should not accept it. As you will go on working in the meditations on light and sound, this light and sound is not something light and sound. It is something wonderful. If you hear some voices outside, what will help you? It is all noise. Some people sometimes are singing also, but what does it matter to you? What do you get out of it? Nothing. But this sound which you are finding, it is a life, it is a power in it, that it will drive out all the evils, all the devils. This is for your information, that if ever you have some kind of what you call it, depression, or some kind of hard feeling that you are in some confusion, some problems are there, some difficulties are there, which have made you really depressed, or some circumstances have occurred in your life at some time that you are in a great fix, in a confusion that you can not find any way out of it. Sit in meditation on sound. If you have no money with you, your all business has gone down, all is lost, everybody has discarded you, you have no friend to help you, there are no sympathizer for you, and that nobody is there to give any sympathy to you, just start with the meditation of sound. Everything will begin to fall from the sky. Some agencies will be coming to you that you will have some money, you will have also some job, you will also get rid of sufferings, and that depression which was there, now you feel quite strong, you are feeling quite in yourself, or all the enemies are gone, you are surrounded with only your friends, and you are in your nice home, with your nice family. Everything will be changed very, very dramatically, and that you will be able to live. Because this is not a sound, it is a power. The agency is there which looks like it's a sound, so that we may have feeling of connection to it. If directly some powers are coming up, you will not feel connected to it. And that when your friend comes with body, you accept him, or relative or friend. But if only help is coming from some just without bodies, you will not be able to understand it, because you are conversant with the material. What is filled in the material that come to you through the material. This is the thing that all these blessings of God are also sent by God through this some kind of not really material, but some kind of subtle material, which is audible to your ears, that your material body may be able to understand that there is something. And when you are connected to the sound, then you are connected to all those blessings. And this sound, this light which is there, that is also not the light of the sunlight. Sunlight will go on giving you some light or some kind of knowledge outside, but it will not give you anything. It will not direct you. If there are two ways, it will not tell you that this is the proper way. This is not the proper way. Because it is a material. It has no consciousness, it has no power. It has no sympathy, it has nothing relation to us. It's not connected to us. But that light which is there within us, that is all knowledge, all wisdom, all glory, all beauty, all light, all life, and has consciousness and life in it, and has sympathy for you. It belongs to you. And wherever you are little wrong, it will hold your hand, it will direct you to that direction. It will not let you go on some other direction, because it is your sympathetic, your own friendly light. This kind of light is there which we need. This kind of sound which we need is there we need. All other outside things are there. We are only to be deluded. They cannot really help us. So this helping factor which is given to you, that has been given to you, it is all the time. The light of sun only will come half the day. Otherwise you will be in darkness. And any other helping factor which is there in this world is also not ever available to you. Sometimes. But this helping factor of light and sound is already always 24 hours. Each moment. Not even 100th or 1000th part of a second that it will be absent from you, and that it will not be available. Because your existence in this world is only depending upon this life-giving impulse of sound and light. And when sound and light goes away out of us, then we are dead. That is the cause of death. That is has left us. And when we are here in this world, then we are to keeping ourselves connected to it. And then it will go on working, and we will be benefited 100%. Otherwise, problems, difficulties, and sufferings will continue, because we are not connected with this holy links. And are these not there in you? Is there anybody who is living as a human being and has not this life-giving impulse of light and sound? After today, I have not found anybody, even atheists who say that there is no God. They should come. I will tell them there is God. I will show them. And they will have to believe, because this power of God, which is in the form of light and sound, they will also see. They will also enjoy it. They will also then begin to believe it when they are connected to it. So, if I say that you have got nose, you will not believe. I ask, okay, I took your hand, touch it, have it, now it is there. How can you say no? Because you have found it. People say you have not found it, because you cannot see with your eyes, your nose, only you can touch with your hands. So God is to be found by your soul. Otherwise, those people who believe in God also, they are not really believing it, only some kind of tradition. So many people say there is God. I also say there is God. It is only some kind of blind faith. All the people of the world, or most of the people of the world, are going along with such like blind faith that all the people say, I should also say. But ask them, those who say that there is God, have you seen? Have you found? Have you been benefited? What is use of your God? What your God does? How it is connected to your life? They will be dumbfounded. Because they are not really atheists, they are believers. They are really atheists, but they cannot dare to say that we are atheists because they feel like being criticized by those people who say that there is God. Okay, I also say, why to create a problem for me? That is the way of the life of all the people of this world. And I don't feel like that we should just go along with such like false traditions. We should believe after having found and after having all those benefits, if it is useful for us, then we should say it is there. If there is gold buried under in your house and somebody tells you there is gold and you do not dig it out, only you know that is gold, and still you are poor, living in a very wretched condition, then if somebody comes to you, are you rich or poor? You cannot say that you are rich. You cannot say that I have gold of millions or billions or trillions of dollars. You cannot say, because you are poor. You are looking like poor. You are poor. How can you say that you are rich? You have got such like trillions of dollars of gold. It is there. You know also. It is reality also. It is there. But you have not found it. So, if it is not found, it is not there. It is the same thing. When we have not found it, even if it is there, it is not to be considered to be existing. So something existing which is there, it should come into our life. We should enjoy it. We should avail it. And then not only we will be able to say that I have got, but other people will also feel like saying that you are having something big treasure, you are a great person, you are really looking like a very rich person, very well-to-do person. Where from you have got? The people will all, not one person, but all the people will begin to say, that is there, what is to your credit? If God is there, believers are there, but they are also in the same condition as the atheists are there, then all are atheists. I wanted to make you believers really, not by saying, but everybody will say that he has God, he is not only believer, but he is having connection. He has got God. He has got God. To be believer of God is another subject. To have God, to be with God, to will God, that is another thing. So this I have tried to make you. And I have been successful, and that you also feel successful. I am happy and you are also happy. Okay, you are also happy? But still, you have to go a long way further. This happiness is a small happiness. You have to very, 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 very big happy, very big happy. It will overflow like a fountain. It will shoot out of you. And all the sufferings, problems, worries of the world will also be no more, and you will also never suffer. Okay, my dear, now we may sit in meditations.